Well, hello again, and welcome back to Old Food in My Fridge. It has been about 4 years, little over 4 years since the last episode, and I have some new items to share that I've been cultivating in the back of the refrigerator, again, out of sight of the other household members. And of course, I still have some old classic items that I've been keeping in my closet ever since the last episode, and even since the episode before that. So some of the items that have been sitting in my closet are over 10 years old at this point. And so they've had lots of time to sort of transmogrify into something else. Something interesting, I hope. So, let's get started. The first question is, what is there that's hiding in the back of the refrigerator this time? So I know there's a few items buried off in the back here. There is some cheese that's been sitting around for a while. These are olives that we used some of the olives, and then we forgot about the rest of them, and they are no longer olives. There is also some interesting stuff up on the top shelf. Oh, what's the other one? Oh, this container of leftovers back here. And when the top of it looks like that the inside of it is going to be really interesting. So, let's take a look at these items. So I want to start out with probably the least interesting one of these to look at, which is the pepper jack cheese. Next up, definitely on the more interesting side compared to that last one, the container of olives. We've been going through olives like crazy, and I don't know how we managed to overlook these, but they ended up not getting used, and now they're really moldy in interesting ways. A couple of different colors of mold in there. That's kind of interesting. But we can do even better. Have you ever been at the dentist's office and they take a little camera on the stick and they shove it into your mouth and they stick it up on a monitor and you get this ultra close-up on the really interesting things that are happening to the teeth in your mouth because you haven't been taking care of them? Well, I've definitely not been taking care of this food, and we can get an even closer look at this. So let's go. Here we go. So this is pretty cool. We've got some turquoise mold over here. We've got some weird snowy looking stuff on the side here. And here's a super close up at some of that fuzzy white stuff. So, alright, a little bit interesting. A little bit not edible. But what about this one? I can't see through the top film here, so I'm not sure what this used to be. So we'll find out together. It's very liquidy. Wow, it is very liquidy. Oh, these look a little bit like green beans that have turned into soup. Green bean soup. I'm not sure what else to call that. It seems like there's more in here than just green beans. Maybe this was soup in the first place? I don't know. I've lost track. The most identifiable thing in here is green beans, so I'm going to go with that. It's kind of interesting. I would not want to eat this. It really does not look appetizing. It doesn't smell too bad. Alright. So there's that. Alright, those are the new items. Some kind of interesting stuff, but there are also some old favorites that I've been hiding. Alright, these ones are back, and I'm excited to have another look at these. let's start with the cookies. The cookies are definitely over 10 years old at this point. And every time I look at these, it looks like the day that I made them. These things are so loaded with preservatives that you really can't tell how old they are. And that's still the case. Even in the super close-up view here, like, yeah, this looks like really close-up cookie. You can see all the neat little granules of yummy, delicious stuff. Here's one of the lemon chips on it. Ooh, they smell weird. I wouldn't eat these anymore. The past times they didn't smell like much, if I remember right, but there was nothing in the smell that would suggest you wouldn't want to eat them. Now there is. I can't quite describe it. Like, they still smell like lemon cookies, which is what they are. Yeah, I'm not doing that again. Don't eat these. If I invite you over and hand you one of these cookies, don't eat it. I don't think I would do that. But, alright. The orange lemon thing is back, whatever this is. It's still very hard. It's still, I think, very well preserved. It hasn't changed much, so really, if you saw it in the last episode, it's about the same in this episode. There you go. Shriveled lemon orange thing something. This one I'm looking forward to. This was chocolate fondue, also from 10-ish years ago. And it was just starting to look really interesting last time. There was a little bit of mold forming on the side. It was starting to sort of pull itself away from the sides of the container. I'm really curious what this has turned into. Carefully. Whoa! Wow. It used to look like chocolate. This does not look like chocolate anymore. This is very fuzzy everywhere. The whole top surface has been replaced with mold of different shades, different colors, different textures. The weird thing is, this still smells kind of sweet and almost delicious. I don't want to try this. I'm just saying the smell is not bad given what I'm looking at. That's cool. I'm very happy with this one. Now, these two. So this one, if I remember correctly, this was beans. These are 10-year-old beans that have been sitting in my closet, and I just noticed this part of the lid isn't entirely closed. And I remember last time this smelled really foul, so thanks to the last year, I'm prepared for that. I now have a face mask that will at least reduce some of the spores and smell particles that come into my mouth. So, let's have a look. You have grown darker and drier from the looks of it. So the mask helps. When I say helps, it is not 100% helping, but it's hopefully better than what I remember. There's a bunch of stuff going on here. We got like half a sheet of mold on the one side. We've got a bunch of really dried out bean gunk on the other side. And everything smells really bad. So, one last look. enjoy. And that is going away again. And hopefully the lid will stay closed this time. Ew. 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 Ah, it's still there. Alright. One last item here. This one, I still can't remember what it was. Maybe gravy or something like that. Last time I noticed there was a crack in the lid. There's still a crack in the lid, so it's again had some little bit of air circulation, or at least air, for the last 5 years on top of the 5 years that it had before. So this is going back on again, and we'll have a look at this. Alright. Oh, I do not want to touch any of this. Ooh, it's an interesting sound. That's an interesting sight. Whoa, it's all dried out. This used to be super liquidy. It's now hairy and a little bit crystally. That's cool. That's weird. Huh. So I guess when you leave the containers with a little bit of air getting into and out of them, they get dehydrated a bit. Makes sense. The water evaporates. And you get solid old food in my fridge instead of liquid old food in my fridge. So maybe that bowl of weird soupy stuff, I should just stick it in my closet without any sort of lid on it for a while and see what happens. Well, I don't know what to describe about this. It's pretty weird looking. And I've got two more surprise items here. This one I just discovered is salmon. A piece of salmon that's been sitting there a little bit too long and isn't quite edible anymore. It's a little surprising how quickly this turned bad, but you can see here it is really fuzzy, and it's got a really kind of nice, I don't know, almost turquoise color to the mold that's there. Smells pretty interesting, and it's gonna go away because that is not a good interesting smell. There you go, salmon. And one more surprise. This, I made whipped cream a couple of months ago, and we used a bunch of it, and then it started going bad, so I didn't want to use the rest of it, but I did want to save it for all of you. So let's have a look at that. Wow, that's really cool. We've got, it's almost like Halloween. You've got orange mold, you've got black mold, some gray, all on top of the white of the whipped cream itself. It's almost like candy whipped cream. It really does look like Halloween. You could give this out for trick-or-treaters. Maybe I'll save some. Alright, there is bad whipped cream. That is it. Thank you again for joining me on another episode of Old Food in My Fridge. I hope this sort of stuff is as interesting to you as it is to me, and I'll see you next time in another 4 to 5 years, maybe sooner. You know, the longer we wait, the more interesting these items become, and the more potential for finding new and interesting and previously undiscovered types of items in the fridge or in the closet or the under the seat of the car, you know, wherever. So, thanks for joining me. Until next time, take care.